Hi and welcome. This is Will from the Real Builder Lab. Glad you're here. Today we're going to be walking through the Telegram VA workflow that I use to capture my ideas when they hit me and I don't have time to sit down and type them in, where I can just grab my phone or hit the Telegram app on my computer, message about what I want, have it all captured in Airtable and expanded by OpenAI with what other ideas I might want to follow up with. So let's take a look. First, we're going to go over this workflow. We'll go through some of the details and the way that it works. Real quickly, if I show you, I pull up a bot. This is the desktop app of Telegram. You can type in a message. You can record an audio. Either one is fine. This flow will take that message and run it through a number of steps. So it starts with a Telegram trigger. If it's an audio file, it will download the file, use OpenAI to transcribe it. Otherwise, it's a text message, and then it will classify it, meaning is the idea a video, a post, a community post, a LinkedIn article, whatever it might be. If it doesn't have anything, you can bucket it into other, and then it'll expand on the idea. And this is where you can customize this, particularly these two are the areas you can customize, particularly for your own business and use case. And then ultimately, it saves it into Airtable. So the final results of something would be, let's take a look at one, create a content post here. So this is the original idea that I had logged in, so I won't lose track of that. It has the time that it was captured. It has some other data for things that I want to expand it to at some point. This was my Airtable. And then it has the enhanced concepts, engagement hooks, key value points. These are the points that were important for me. These are things that you could choose to change, but there's a little bit of detail that you should know about. So that's what we're going to walk into today. When we're done, you will have access to a JSON file of this flow that you can just import into n8n. You'll also have a link to the instructions, written instructions on how to create a Telegram bot so that you can use this within n8n. And I will give you a spreadsheet that you could easily upload into Airtable to create the structure of that table. But of course, if you want to make some changes, you can as well. So let's walk through the very basics of this. So the first thing you have to do is have a Telegram account. So go and get one if you don't have one. And then you're going to follow these instructions to set up a Telegram bot. So let me walk you through that. The very first thing that you have to do is do a search for BotFather. If you haven't found BotFather before, you'll do a search here, search for BotFather, and you'll message BotFather. And you'll start with a message to start. It'll give you a bunch of details. Mine already was there. And then you'll hit New Bot to create a new bot. And you'll give it a name. So this one I will call n8n Notifier Bot, just like in the instructions. And then I will give it a username, which is n8n status bot. And that name is already taken. Great. So I will say the Real Builder Lab, n8n, I can't type today, status bot. Okay. So this is going to give me a key. By the way, I'm going to delete this bot, but they will give me a key that I would copy. And I will need that when I get into Telegram or when I get into n8n. What you'll have to do is set up your Telegram node. To do your Telegram node, you will set up your account. So if I wanted to create a new one, this is where you would set. So this would be I want to call this my n8n Telegram bot to be deleted. And you copy and paste in your token and hit save. And it will then set you up. It'll show connection tested successfully. And that's the bot that you can now use. When that receives a message, it would show up here. So if I wanted to execute this step, I have to deactivate the workflow because it's active right now. And then I will go in here and execute the step, and it's listening for my message. So if I send a message to the bot that I created, I'd have to search for that bot to start with, which was my Real Builder Lab n8n status bot. Let's try that. There we go. And I have to hit start. So now it has the very first message. It didn't have anything in there, but I could type it in and say hello. But I have to execute this first. So it's listening. Hello. How are you today, Mr. Bot? And that should be what comes in right here. Great. Now, obviously, this is not the bot I want to use, so I will end up changing this back later. But there you go. And then the if just routes it on whether it's an audio file or a text file. You can use audio so that you can use this on the go if you'd like. The code helps merge some of this together and gets rid of a few sloppy things. If you only send a 10-character message, it's not going to log that. That just seems like an accident. If you want to change that, you can. Then it will classify your content. So if I show you in Airtable, it will show these types: TikTok, content, others, content, video. Some of these were tests, that's why it's showing that way. But you can choose whatever you want your categories to be by changing this text right here. And this is the prompt. If anyone has any questions or they have ideas of what they would like to see here and you're not quite sure how to do it, feel free to send me a message. I'm happy to help. And then this is the part that's really important for you to make your own. This is the OpenAI Idea Expander. You do have to have an OpenAI account. That's how this works. I'm not going to go through that process right now. There's plenty of videos out there, or you can message me and I can send you one as well. There are two parts of this. There's a system prompt and the user prompt. The user prompt is really straightforward. It's take the idea of your text and the category and enhance this idea. For me, it was with the Real Builder Lab and IPM coaching context. And that was because those are the projects that I'm working on. These are the things that you need to change. You're a content strategist for a multifaceted entrepreneur with 2 key business ideas. Here's what I would suggest. I would suggest that you can take this prompt if you'd like, or you leave the bottom part if this works okay for you. But if not, you can run it through ChatGPT and you can ask it for what should this prompt be. Because what you're trying to do is take your ideas and expand them for your business, for your use case. Maybe you want to capture a contact that you met in a networking event and you want to expand on that information. You could put that in there and see what it could find for you. Company information, any details that might find relevant around the person or their job or their field. I don't know what you might be using it for. This can go in a lot of places. You can use this to launch out additional research on projects or ideas. You could give it storylines and ask it for hooks and for expanding into stories. So a lot of choices here. Whatever you do, though, if you change the response in the system to change the output structure, this is going to have an impact on your code. This code was written with ChatGPT, knowing what that structure was supposed to be. And what this does is it just creates a nicely formatted output so that I can store in my Airtable something like this. You don't have to store it like this. It's up to you. But this is how I use it. So that's the gist. There you go. I will send you all the details. And if you have any questions, feel free to let me know. I do hope that if you find this helpful, I would love for you to check out therealbuilderlab.com. This is a free community hosted on Circle that I find that I'd like to work with other people who are building their business, building their side hustles, who have ideas, and they'd like to share them with others or get feedback from others. It's a small community now. Hopefully we'll be growing over time, but I'd love to have you there. Happy to pitch in if you have any questions. So please come by, realbuilderlab.com, and I'll see you there.